So, Renee, I know we are really excited that we've been spending the last several months really thinking about how do we support teachers in the lofty work of conferring with readers. And today, let's tell people a little bit about why we think conferring is so important right now, and then what we have in store for them if they'd like to join us in some more professional learning together.
We are really excited. Yes, Gravity. And this day has been a long time coming, right? We've kind of had a countdown on our calendar, and we've been practicing and thinking together and in a lot of classrooms like yours. And so we're super excited to kind of synthesize all that we've been thinking about and learning around the idea of conferring with readers now more than ever. I feel like if you would have asked Gravity and I, a year ago, we probably would have said a lot of the same things, but even more, we've had a heightened awareness since the global pandemic of how important it is to connect with one another and to connect with the students and caregivers that we're really supporting. And almost there's a post-it on my computer that says connection over perfection, and thinking a little bit about how important it is that we might be physically distanced right now, but we don't necessarily have to be socially distanced. And when we pull alongside a student in our brick and mortar classroom to talk reader to reader, there's a lot of magic that happens there. And it can be the same thing on the screen. It feels a little different, but there's still magic that happens when we connect with a student personally as a human being first. And we're all craving that connection right now. And I think students are included in that. And so so now more than ever, we're thinking a little bit about how can we support you in thinking through your ever evolving conferring practice so that we can feel that connection with readers and they can feel it with us. We're also excited to share with you that we find that there's a lot of longevity in our teaching when we do prioritize conferring with readers. Our teaching sticks because sometimes, at least for me, when I'm teaching whole group right now, it feels like I'm herding cats a little bit. It's really hard. It's really hard. But there's something about just the tension leaves a little bit from my shoulder. So when I know that I'm showing up with a student just one-on-one, thinking about I'm really leaning in and personalizing for that student. So it feels like there's a place for my teaching to grow and a place for that reader to try out things that they're working on in their life. Another part that another aspect of our teaching practice we've been thinking about is the idea of independence and all the beauty that comes with it, but also all the challenge that comes with it. And normally we think about how we are raising up readers, how we're setting up readers to be independent is really important in the work we've been thinking about. But again, now more than ever, we're finding that a lot of students are on their own, thinking about their independent practice off screen at home in their learning or in their various aspects of learning. So we've been thinking a little bit about how we can design our one-on-one conversations, our conferring with readers that set students up for a plan that they've personalized and that they've engaged with so that they can be successful in their reading independently.
So, Renee, as I'm hearing you name all those, I really seeing the same connection to why we design professional learning for you teachers in this way. That, as we're meeting with teachers, we're noticing really common patterns and the same kinds of things that as teachers, we are longing for connection, right? That it's very isolating often to be in your room or in your basement like I am right now, or in your tiny home office or kitchen table or bathroom I've seen people teaching in, right? And this idea of how can we connect as educators and harness the power together of our collective knowledge and wisdom. And another part of sort of the why we want you to join us in this is that we also recognize that you might be feeling like you are putting in more work than you have ever done as an educator, whether it's your first year or your 31st year as a teacher. It's my 21st. I've never had one this hard, right? And so how can we together think about how we can actually make the impact that we want? And I had the honor of recently getting to talk with some high school teachers, and I asked every one of them in this school district, what is it that your number one priority is? And they all said some version of, I want to have a more trusting relationship with my students, and I really want to get to know them better. And so this idea of we're working so hard, but we might not seeing the impact that we really want to see. We might not actually see students reading as much or understanding as much or engaging as often. And so we really wanted to design a learning experience that would be worth the time, because we recognize your time is probably your most important commodity right now, and we don't feel like we have very much of it. So I want to share a little bit of how we designed this. It's, to me, one of the best opportunities is that we can rethink, and we got to reimagine, Renee, what we thought professional learning could look like in this era, right? I mean, I miss the days of driving or flying or taking a train to somebody's school and opening the door and being greeted by new students and new teachers, right? But that doesn't mean that we can't have really powerful professional learning even without that. So we know that people need flexibility, but we also know that people need support. So we thought about these 6 main areas that actually span kindergarten all the way through high school, of what are the 6 main elements of conferring that actually can help you have the impact you want. And so each week for 6 weeks, we'll be gathering together, and there's an asynchronous piece to that. So Renee and I will each week drop a video that is 30 or so minutes. So it really respects your time, but the 30 minutes well spent on something really practical for one of those 6 areas. We'll also have some handouts and some tools that you can start using right away. So that's one element. Another way we design this is that each week we give you 1, maybe 2 things to try out with your students, so that it's really actionable, that we're not going to just talk about theory. You'll watch that video, you'll get that handout, and then you'll have something to go try like that day or the very next day. A third way we design this is to be in community. So we're actually limiting the number of people who can participate at a time, so that we can actually get to know each of you. Like, we want to be your coaches and your mentors, but we also want you to coach and mentor one another. So there'll be this online community component that's a private group for us to be able to share resources, to share questions, to share celebrations with one another. And then finally, the part we're probably not most excited about, but we're definitely excited about, is we're going to meet live with you too. There will be a synchronous component to that. So that once a week over those 6 weeks, we will also gather together in person. And that will be a time for the face-to-face connection. That will be a time for conversation. And that will be a time for us to really coach you through the reality of the struggles, because we know we can make a video, share a handout, build a community, but we also know challenges will arise because we live in the real world. So here's an opportunity for us to do that. And so over these course of this 6 weeks, we can't promise that everyone will leave feeling like, I never have another question ever about conferring, because we still do. But we do feel really confident that you'll feel more connected, more excited, and more clear and confident in what you're doing. And those relationships with students will then be able to flourish in the same way. And maybe the most important element of how we design this online learning experience is through the lens of contribution. That right now, with the idea that we have so little control of so many aspects of our lives, the one thing we have control over is the way in which we show up every day, as humans, as people, as caregivers, as educators, right? And so we're really dedicated to the idea of contribution, which is just saying, like, I have something to offer. I believe I have something to offer, and I'm going to bring that to our community. And so Renee, can you talk a little bit about who our ideal candidates will be joining us in this experience?
Absolutely. I can't wait. I'm literally on the edge of my seat for this, Gravity. We're so excited. And so if you're on the edge of your seat too, there's a really good chance that this course is designed exactly for you. So we're thinking about educators who really do value and prioritize independent reading. We're really interested in collectively setting up students to be the best version of themselves as independent decision makers. And as a byproduct of that, we're going to turn out to be the best version of ourselves as independent decision makers too, in designing the curriculum that brings us joy, and as a result, the students' joy in our lives too. We also know that everyone is at various places, moment to moment, day to day, month by month. If you're in this moment ready to prioritize developing your ongoing repertoire for supporting independent reading through your conferring practice, this course is for you. And if you're thinking, I'm super excited, but I don't know if I can prioritize it right at this moment, don't worry. You can just hit the pause button, and I'm sure we'll come back with this and we'll offer it at another time, because we really do want and value in the moment making this a priority. We're committing to making our time with you a priority, and we're super excited about being in that lens and that mindset of a contributor. And just the idea of, I'm ready to contribute. I'm at a place right now in my career, in the year, where I believe in what I'm doing and I'm ready to contribute, and therefore I can't wait to receive the contributions of others as well. The other piece that's important to think about is that this is not, if you're in it for the long haul with us. So Gravity and I will spend, the next couple of weeks and months with you. That doesn't necessarily mean our relationship ends, but we believe that this is a constant evolution of contribution to our own practice and to our colleagues' practice and to the children and families that we serve. And so the idea of this isn't really necessarily a quick fix. If you're looking for a quick fix, this might not be the course for you. However, every session you will leave with a tool that you can immediately apply and work through your journey of making that your own.
I think that's a really powerful point to just reiterate, Renee, this idea of like, if you're looking for a book, like here's the 101 things to do. If you're looking for a program, if you're looking for a shiny new tech tool, like that's not what we're going to offer. Instead, we're going to offer ways to make our conferences really impactful and how to connect with students regardless of the instructional context and constraint you find yourself in.
We're really excited to join you and meet you. We look forward to seeing you very soon. And most importantly, we look forward to your contributions.